You are all over. Wow. So, Steve, thank you so much for coming. And you see, when I was calling, I I knew that you would show up, right?
Right.
And I believe your job. I've been working with you for a long time.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell me a little bit about your background, you know, when it comes to inspection. Can you briefly?
Sure. Um, I was slave labor as a kid in remodeling for my dad, so that's where a lot of experience came from. From there, I tried to get away from that. I got into the insurance industry, and so I worked that for 20 plus years. And I worked on all sides there as an underwriter, so I understand what an underwriter is looking for when they look at a house. What's like when you buy a house, um, I know what they're going to be looking for and the questions they're going to ask. And then I did that.
Are you talking about mortgage underwriters, right?
No, the insurance side.
Insurance side. Okay.
I have done some work for mortgage companies too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, because maybe somebody might say underwriter. Is it mortgage underwriter or?
yeah, no, not as a mortgage underwriter, as insurance underwriter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think we all understand what the mortgage guys are looking for. But the insurance can be one that people often forget about. They don't think about because a lot of what I do when I'm looking, I'm also looking with an underwriter's eye at the house to give folks an idea of what could be a problem or an issue when it comes to underwriting. For instance, probably the most common one would be the electrical panel. From time to time, there's difference because I've worked for both commercial and personal inspections. And on the commercial side, uh, the mortgage company and the insurance companies aren't concerned about fuses or buses. But on the personal side, they are concerned about that because they don't feel that the homeowner necessarily would have the means to upkeep that as necessary. So that becomes a fire hazard. So I'll share that with the buyer if I run into a house that has fuses, or going all the way back to when we first started wiring houses and we used knob and tube wiring. So that's always something to look for. It's not very common anymore, but you might see remnants of it in the older house, and I'll point that out to the buyers and let them know, okay, this is what was in the house originally, and I'll check to see if any of those are live. Most of the time they're not, but once in a while they are.
So, how long have you been doing inspection?
Oh, well, in various forms for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So, are you specialized on just fully residential side, or both commercial and residential, and then other?
Yeah, because my background, I go wherever. But primarily, I would say the bulk of the business is on the personal side.
Personal side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, is there any difference between commercial inspection and then residential inspection for people to know in case someone is
right?
Well,
yeah, there are differences, and that's one of them I pointed out already with the main panel. I'll check out the electrical and look for that.
Good. Yeah. So inspection process. To start inspection, what are the most important areas you focus more on inspection?
Well, I've learned over time and make sure that I have a pattern that I follow so I don't forget anything. Because sometimes the buyer will want to be there, and my experience has been that a lot of people don't like, a lot of inspectors don't like having the other person there while they're doing the initial inspection. I'll do what I call two inspections. I'll do my primary inspection, then I'll do a walkthrough or a secondary inspection with you and the buyer, and then go over everything that I found, and then ask any questions that the buyer might have.
Oh, okay. Okay. How long does it take? Typical inspection for a house?
It can vary. I did a couple years ago. I did a $12 million house, and that was what was the square footage? I forget what the square footage was now. 10,000 square feet.
Oh wow.
So that took that was a day long job. So that, but on average, the typical home that most people buy is between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet, and that generally takes, depending on the condition of the home, if it's in nice condition. Sometimes the inspection will go fast. I'll spend the majority of my time on the mechanicals and checking out the other systems of the house. But generally, it's about, I allow 3 hours for the inspection.
It depends on the size of the property.
Right? Size of the property plays the biggest role in it.
Oh.
And then depending on the condition of the home, if it's been maintained, my initial inspection will take probably an hour and a half, and then, but I allow 2 hours because I never know what I'm walking into, just for my time. So I can go through and record all my information. Obviously it helps that I've been doing it for a while. So
wow,
you pick up visual cues. You pick things up pretty quick.
Oh wow, wow. So talking about other inspections, let's say if someone has a bigger house and wanted you to, let me put it this way: inspecting a bigger house in winter time and then summertime, what are the difference? What are the difficulties that sometimes you face?
I like to be able to get on the roof and check the roof out.
Oh.
I won't necessarily walk the entire roof anymore. I've got a drone for that, so I use the equipment that or the tools that are most handy now that companies are actually going to.
Oh, that means you use some kind of technology?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have drones that I use. I've got a dozen different drones.
Oh wow!
So
all perform different
well, like your equipment here, the cameras perform different functions.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then depending on where I'm at, I've got larger drones or smaller drones that I use.
Okay.
It depends on wind conditions and what's the area that I'm in.
Oh wow! Well, so do you face any difficulties in some of the homes or the properties you entered? Something that
Well, I used to travel the country doing inspections, and there would be neighborhoods that it just wouldn't be necessarily safe to be in. For instance, when I was working down in Mobile, Alabama, and I was given a heads up that, okay, if you go here, this neighborhood we have a lot of pimps and drug dealers. So you have a short window in which to work. They're going to be going to bed between 7 and 8 in the morning, and they're going to be getting up between 10 and noon.
So that means you have to be there early in the morning to do your job.
And yeah, and you have to, read the neighborhood. And so, for instance, I was inspecting a house, and I was up on the roof, and I noticed a couple blocks away, a couple of gentlemen were eyeballing me.
Wow.
And it was getting close to time, and it's like, okay, I gotta leave now, because there won't be any.
Yeah, because this is your job might be a little bit dangerous, because sometimes entering a vacant property in a neighborhood that you are not 100% sure what you are putting yourself in, or the condition of the property or the area.
Right. So what I do when I'm in neighborhoods like that is I will generally wear a high vis vest, and wear clothing that will indicate that, okay, I'm here to perform a service. That's all that I'm here for. And for the most part, you're left alone. Wow. Folks will leave you alone. There are just some things that you pick up over time. It's not a guarantee, but it helps.
Wow. Wow. So is there any preparation if someone want you to inspect their property? Mostly a vacant property, someone is buying bank-owned property and then they want you to, is there any preparation they have to go through to let you know, ahead of time, or it's not, it's just...
It's helpful if there's anything unique. To know that ahead of time. Overall, the market that we're in up here in the Twin Cities is overall it's a great market. The folks have a different mentality from one location to the next, and you kind of pick that up as you, like when I would work down south. Folks in Florida would have a different mindset. It's so much so that if I was working on the east coast of Florida as opposed to the west coast, like on Naples or Tampa side, or am I on the Miami and Cocoa Beach side, or Port St. Lucie, I would conduct myself differently, and I would handle things differently, even on between those two locations. And then that would be different from like when I worked in Mississippi or when I worked in Alabama. You learn to read the locals, and you do what helps them, what's best for them, while keeping yourself safe.
Wow. Oh, that means inspection job is not easy.
No. I used to have snake boots for my inspections.
Oh, okay.
Or so it's not just people that can be dangerous. It's the wildlife in the area.
Wildlife in the area. Yeah. I think Minnesota doesn't have snakes though.
We do.
Oh, really?
We do. Yeah. Most of them along the river bluffs by the St. Croix River, the Mississippi, but generally around here, no, there's not too much to worry about around here.
Wow. Okay, folks, I'm here with Steven. He is a home inspector, commercial and residential, right?
Yes.
Home inspector. And I'm here, he's going to explain a whole lot of things to home buyers. Right now, we went through some little issues. The next segment is going to be, he's going to talk about home buyers and then sellers. So if you are watching the video and you know someone is planning to buy a house or selling, you can forward this video to them. Steven has been in business for so many years. I've worked with him personally, and then I know what he does. So thank you so much for watching, and then we will be right back, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.